Alright there. Yorkie here, bringing you the next episode of My Humble Opinion. My overview of the Humble Monthly Choice Bundle. A little bit of gameplay for them games therein. Next up, Endzone, A World Apart. Now this is one of 3 that I'm considering entry for gameplay next month. Let's see if I'm interested, shall we? Going through the tutorial, basically, just see what's involved in the game. Longer interrelated tutorial that includes all important aspects of the game. Follow Arthur Sorchin's instructions and obtain clues and useful information to survive in the merciless world of Endzone, A World Apart. Start tutorial. Please don't give me a wall of text tutorial, that's not necessary in this day and age.
We finally left the Endzone. Just look at this beautiful scenery. It's marvelous, even though it's a bit different from what we had pictured. We were able to secure a few basic resources and are storing them in our bus.
Build ourselves a new home.
I'm glad we prepared ourselves well for this kind of scenario, especially since our inventories in the Endzone ran low. Don't forget that if you need additional information, you can look at our survival guide at any time.
Just want to say to begin with, the music's fine. It's not really appealing, but it's certainly not earache. The graphics are perfectly fine for a base building game. So I'm okay. I'm cool with this so far. Let's do it. Open the survival guide. Okay. Done that.
Well done. Everything you need to know should be right here. I think the time has come for us to at last build ourselves a new home. Before we can construct buildings at all, we have to assign the profession builder to several settlers so that they can take care of construction contracts. In general, it's your responsibility to decide which tasks are important and how our settlers are supposed to be distributed to attend to them.
Sounds good. Open the professions menu, that's down here. Assign 3 settlers. The builder.
All right. Your builders will be ready as soon as construction contracts have been issued. It's time to start focusing on our key and most basic need, water.
Yep, water and shelter.
The first thing we ought to do is to establish a working water supply. So we'll move on to our first construction contract. Place and build a jetty by a lake in the vicinity of your town center.
Good. Open buildings. Jetty. I guess, hang on. Do I have to... How do I rotate it? Because I think I have to spin that round. Rotate building R. There we are. We'll put it there. Bit away from the trees here. Looks like they might be heading that way, I'm guessing. The speed, yep. Let's super speed it.
Very good. The jetty was completed as planned. Now we have a place where we can collect water. There are other possibilities to gather water too, but the jetty is the simplest and most cost-effective method.
Why would Jetty just use buckets or something? Now if you're taking it from there, just use buckets and evaporate, distill.
We can obtain and store water from different sources, like a jetty, rain collector, or well in the cistern.
Yep.
The cistern should always be in close proximity to a water source, so that our water carriers don't have to walk too far.
That's cool. Right there then. Get that built. And we need 42 scrap. We got 4. Alright. Surprised we're not doing resource management yet, but I guess we're just getting some buildings done. Assign settlers. So that's in professions again. Water, and you want 3. And then we've got to produce some water. That's cool. What else? Anything? Nope, rewards 200. Alright. 200 what? That must be the currency.
We have now installed a working water supply, and water is now transported from the jetty to our cistern. Consider hiring more water carriers if you don't have enough settlers.
Okay.
Now we should focus on food production.
Absolutely.
It's important to ensure the supply right from the start. A gatherer's cabin, a hunting lodge, or a fishing hut can directly remedy the situation. I suggest starting with a fishing hut, since we're already located near a lake.
Alright. That's building. Food. Fishing hut. Will that even fit there? Nope. It'll fit there. Get that done. Here come 2 on them. Workforce. 2, okay. Assign 2 fishers. That's there. And produce 50 fish. Speed up. Get this done.
Good work. We've now taken care of our basic supply via food and water.
Yep.
Make sure that you have enough food and water on hand at all times, especially if you want to upgrade your settlement. A population that grows too fast can quickly unbalance your food and water supply, bringing major difficulties for you if you don't watch out. Crops are another excellent way of getting food, because they constantly grow as long as the soil is moist enough.
That sounds good.
Each seed has different yields and growing times. This means that it could take some time until your field is ready to be harvested, in contrast to your fishing hut, where production can be right away.
So I'm imagining the field is more productive but takes longer, essentially. Up here is fine. Cultivate a field. Cultivate field. I don't know how big it's meant to be. Maybe it's just 1. That's the size. Okay, that's fine. Cultivated field. We want a 1 farmer. Well, where's the workforce? Oh, seeds from the field chosen. Do I have to? How do I do that? Workforce. Choose seed. Cabbage or black salsify. That's lit, so let's do that. Alright, now we can apparently do something with it.
looks good.
Okay, that
Remember
I didn't.
that we need the widest variety of food sources to stay healthy.
Right.
You should also plan ahead for drought periods that might come when it's not going to rain. Stock up on food and adapt your production to avoid bottlenecks. I'll show you a few more strategies later on.
That's cool.
At the beginning, we don't have much scrap, wood, or other resources. We could build a production building, but to obtain resources as fast as possible, it's best that we start gathering right away. Assign a Gather All Resources task. All the settlers who haven't been assigned any profession by you are going to accept these kinds of tasks. In addition, settlers distribute resources within your settlement.
Cool. So show me how to do that. Gather wood task, gather scrap task. Oh, that's not it. What was it under? Oh, buildings and tasks. Okay, and that's at the bottom task. Gather wood. Gather scrap. And then let's get that done. It'll soon be done. Got the wood, we're just doing the scrap now.
Since we now own plenty of resources, we can start to build a real production building. Then you don't have to always make efforts by hand that collecting is taking place. Production buildings are not only easier to manage, they're also distinctly more effective than simple tasks. Don't place production buildings too far away from your settlement. You'll be able to change their working area at any time later on.
Alright, that's fine.
Right on. The best thing for us to do now is to build a forester's lodge to automate our supply of wood and make it more effective at the same time. Foresters are not only able to chop down trees, they reforest areas with trees as well.
Okay. Get that built. Assign one forester, so let's get that done while we can. And produce the wood. I've got the wood done.
You might want to change this building's working area later on to tell your workers where they should get their wood from.
Yeah, that's fine.
And for your information, if you want, you can also tell your forester's lodge that they only ought to attend to reforesting an area in order to create a lush, green forest which generations to come can use.
That makes sense.
Very good. Now we ought to take care of collecting scrap. Scrap is one of the most valuable resources because the quantities present are limited, and we can recover other resources from scrap. Unlike the task we just had, the scrap yard allows larger quantities of existing scrap to be dismantled than with ruins or wrecks.
Let's stick this. That seems to be where all the scrap is, so let's stick this over there. Get that built and get out collecting scrap, which we're already doing from the gather all. This will just apparently perfect it, or improve it at least. Scrapyard built, all done, nice.
You can change the working area for the scrapyard too.
Yep.
You can recycle scrap into 4 additional resources: cloth, metal, plastic, and electronics. We'll do that shortly. For now, we ought to take care of your settlers' needs first.
Seems like this is nicely involved.
To sleep and live. Cabins fulfill their need for safety and privacy, and increase the confidence of their inhabitants. In other words, building cabins increases their willingness to start families and reproduce, if you know.
Get down and dirty, yeah. Right, so we need to build cabins. That's housing, I assume. Yep, cabin. Put them down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, let's get those built, shall we? Just 3 more to do. 2. 1. Last one coming online shortly.
Besides cabins, you can also provide sturdy houses and shelters as housing. Sturdy houses withstand sandstorms better and have an increased storage capacity to boot. Children living in houses gradually fill up the house's stockpiles.
Okay.
Settlers do not reproduce in a shelter because they lack privacy.
I know people that would appeal to.
Let's return from our excursion into housing and refocus on scrap.
Alright.
With the help of a recycler or refinery, scrap can be sorted into 4 different resources. A recycler always takes scrap apart, one resource at a time.
Okay.
While a refinery automatically produces all 4 resources. To start off, you should build a recycler and produce cloth.
Why wouldn't I go straight for the refinery? Unless they're more expensive and harder to do, therefore. Does that mean it's full? Alright, so we need a recycler. Let's stick that over here with the other goods production. Get that done. Get in there. And get a refiner. And that's going to be producing cloth. So far I'm enjoying this. I mean, it seems like a good... Perhaps basic, I don't know just how detailed it is yet. Base builder. I'm happy to continue this next month. I've been looking for the new one. Something for
you can instruct
Yorkie to get his feet
to produce a different resource at a time. It's important that you focus on the resources you really need, at least in the beginning. Cloth and metal look like good options if you want to equip us with protective clothing and tools. Happy settlers are industrious settlers. That's why we ought to look after our people and protect them against the surroundings and dangers, like radiation. So, let's start by transforming our newly recovered cloth.
Sounds good. Multi-tiered production system makes sense. Taylor? Doesn't look like there's an actual tech tree or anything, that's fine. I mean, it's not needed. What's that? Terrestrial radiation. Assign settlers to Taylor. We need one of them. We've only got one unassigned right now. We're producing neck scarf. We got that built. We're producing neck scarves. Oh, we're growing up by 5. Children help their families transport food and water to their home. Next children become adults. Jasmine, Lorenzo, Antoine, Ivor, and Julie.
We categorize environmental radiation into 4 levels. No radiation, low level, medium level, and high level radiation. The radiation changes constantly and is influenced by weather and contaminated rain. Protective clothing helps to protect us against this kind of radiation, but it takes a while before it's produced.
I like his voice too, I will say.
Production relies on a steady flow of incoming resources.
Understood.
The tools we brought along from the Endzone are slowly but surely running out.
Yep.
So now, let's focus on manufacturing new tools. The tools will help us to work effectively. We'll need metal for that, so we'll prepare for production by building another recycler, which we'll commission to recover metal from scrap. After that, we'll need a workshop to enable the manufacturing.
Alright, recycler. And you're going to be doing... When we can, you're going to be doing metal. Is there anyone not assigned? Yeah, there's still one not assigned. They got a while till they grow up, because... Makes sense, although I think they're probably growing way quicker than they should, to be honest, but I'm not sure. Maybe not. Oh, I can do workforce in here, I guess, so that's fine. Or can I? Oh yeah, I can put that up. That'll give me 2. And that's the metal. We need a workshop. But we don't have anyone to build that right now, do we? Because nobody's unassigned. Oh, someone built it. Who? Well, now we got no one unassigned, so we're waiting on these kids right now. We're getting there. It's going to be a while though, by the look on that. I'm going to take one out of that. I'm going to put them in that. You need to be doing metal tools. We've got 14 kids. Good, they're having bands. Jasmine and Lorenzo are getting very close, and Antoine and Ivor's pretty good too. Actually, Julie and Harry too. Cool. We're getting some new adults soon. This is a good tutorial in that it's taking you through what you need, but it's taking you through it while you're playing a game. And it's not a wall of text, which that always pisses me off. Even in the indie game, I don't like to see that in. Something that's not an indie game should never have that in this day and age.
With our lovely new tools, we are now prepared to work effectively. Should you ever run out of metal, keep in mind that you can also instruct your workshop to manufacture tools from scrap instead of metal. Though they won't be quite as effective, it's still better than being forced to work with bare hands.
True.
Down in the Endzone, we had sufficient time and resources to educate ourselves properly. But our children don't have this luxury. We ought to build a school and pass on what we've learned.
Alright, school it is. Guessing that's community, yep. Let's put that over here, shall we, if we can, yep. Oh, by the housing, was that the town hall or something? Bus wreck. The original place. Ah, now I can put that back up. So we've still got the food coming in. Assigned to profession teacher.
Perfect. Besides the fact that educated children work more effectively, we'll also teach them to be more careful with their protective clothing and tools. This, in turn, leads to them staying intact longer, and we conserve valuable resources.
Cool.
Now that our population is starting to grow, we ought to again turn our attention to the topic of food production. We are already accumulating fish and tilling our fields. A gatherer's cabin will now enable us...
Do we need gatherers now, do we? Oh, it's got to be under food, gatherers, and they're up here. So, I don't want to destroy the fields there. Let's put them down here. There's the building coming up. Now I'm thinking there's a lot more to this because the technology, decorations, defenses, and I've also been paid. I'm at the point where I usually want to stop. Give me a minute. I'm at the situation where I normally want to stop, and that's what I'm going to do. This is sufficient to tell me I'm keen on carrying on with this. I want to see what more it has on it till this coming to channel next month. I don't know how deep it's going to go. I don't know how long the playthrough will be. Might be really long, might be a bit short. So let me answer my 4 questions. 1, is this worth $1 to $2? My question there is, it's 1 slot out of a 12 slot bundle that costs $12 if you're on Classic, $20 I believe it is if it's the current big plan, whatever that's called. Yeah, absolutely. Is it worth 12 to 20? Yeah, it looks like it's at least a decent budget game. So I'm certainly down for paying 12 to 20 for it, so it covers the cost of the bundle for me. I don't know how deep it goes, but it's certainly worth a budget game. Is it coming to the channel because I want it to? Yes, it is. I'll form on Yorkie on this next month. And finally, can you ask for it? Well, you don't need to because it's coming anyway. So, that's my view of Endzone, A World Apart. And there's a bit of DLC for it, which I'll pick up when I get paid. And we can bring it to the channel next month. Alright then. I've been Yorkie. You've been fantastic. 2 hours off eating and sleeping. And this has been Endzone, A World Apart. Let's see if we can survive the post-apocalyptic world next month, shall we? See you then on.